Yeah, people, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. This is your match review, Chelsea, Aston Villa, as well as your weekend review as well. Definitely a great performance today. I have nothing, negative to really point out. I thought today's performance was very good. It was very professional. It was very dominant as well. I mean, even before I saw the starting lineup, like we're playing against Villa, and we haven't beaten Villa in the last two games. Last season we lost at home. I think a lot of people who saw that game, you saw that Watkins winner, and it was just such a stupid goal to concede, but we still conceded it anyway. So for me, this game, I was kind of like, all right, how's the team lineup going to be? How's the shape going to be? Is Maresca going to continue with the same, lineup from last week with Felix, Palmer, Noni kind of, playing the forward roles? Like what's the changes going to be? But I was pleasantly surprised. And also I think one of the biggest like questions we had before this game started was Jorgensen going to start this game? After his performance midweek, I think a lot of us wanted to see Jorgensen start. And I think it's fair, to be honest. Like when you see players putting on a good performance and like really standing out, it's nice to see these people, like these players, rewarded. So to not see Jorgensen in the lineup, I guess it was kind of like how much more or what else does he have to prove? You know what I mean? To start a Premier League game. But even before this game started, I was thinking the smarter thing Maresca could do in this game is not play Jorgensen. Just play Sanchez, because this could be a situation where you're expecting Jorgensen to come in, and then he comes in and he makes, like a high profile error. He makes a big mistake, and then that just knocks off his whole confidence. I thought this will be one of those games where, as brilliant as Jorgensen was midweek, you start Sanchez so you could actually put that kind of like fire under Sanchez. Like you make him realize, bro, you've seen this performance from Jorgensen midweek. You are not undroppable. Yes, Maresca has kind of had a habit of persisting with certain players, even though they've not had like the best of form. But it's like for them, guys, give me 1 second. All right, guys, excuse. I had to pick up an important phone call, but yeah, like I was saying, so I think this was a game where you let Sanchez know, listen, brother, you are not undroppable. You have another opportunity to prove yourself. If you don't play well, Jorgensen takes your spot. So I thought it was smart. I still would have wanted to see Jorgensen, because I think when you're a player who's performing well, you want to be able to get the start. You don't want it to be like, you know what, I've had a cracking game. I've had a great game, making about 11 saves, and then I still can't get ahead of someone who, might not be playing the role perfectly. But I thought it was good playing, Sanchez. But the surprising part was seeing Neto, Sancho, um, Cole Palmer, Enzo, Caicedo, Lavia. When I saw that lineup, I didn't actually realize, I didn't see Sancho's name at first. So I'm like, okay, how is he playing this? Is he playing Palmer out wide? I guess, Palmer on the right, Neto on the left. And then I did a double take and I seen the starting 11. I was like, oh, okay. This is a very attacking team, but then it's also a very balanced team, because Caicedo inverted into that midfield from that right back position. it's a cheat code. We've seen this guy play that role for Brighton. Um, Against Arsenal, big game against Man United. Both games he was brilliant in it. And Caicedo just has the ability, he has the tenacity, he has the quality to be able to play that role. Out of possession, he's the right back. In possession, he inverts into midfield, pushes Enzo a bit forward. I was a bit nervous, I'm not gonna lie, because I was like, yo, this is a very bold like lineup. Again, I know Villa haven't won what in the last 6 games, but this is still Aston Villa. Like these are still a strong team. But Maresca just saying, you know what? Don't worry about it. I'm the manager. I got this. And from minute one to the 90th minute, I think these guys were on it. Like the pressing was intense, winning the second balls. I mean, everybody just played well. Everybody gave you a good performance. It was nice, honestly, to see Neto starting on the right, Sancho on the left, and you could see like how different these guys play and how much of an impact we can have more. When you play Neto on the right, Sancho on the left. Even though Sancho didn't get a goal or assist, I thought the guy was just brilliant. Close control, brilliant. Those reverse passes, brilliant. First touch, exquisite. Ball control, ball movement, ball retention. This guy was just cooking. Like he had their defenders on ice. I mean, Sancho, look, I know people want to keep saying, like, you know what, he's not built for the Prem and, he's not really had a good game since he's been in England. You also have to attribute that to the fact that he was playing in a very poor Man United team with a poor manager. So Sancho, I look, the thing is, sometimes you can believe that, someone might just do better somewhere else. But if you have good quality, because we want to see the best players in the Premier League, I mean, I enjoy other leagues as well, but predominantly when you watch a lot of the Premier League, you want to see the best players in the league. But this guy is brilliant. I don't care what United fans want to say. I don't care what some Chelsea fans will want to say. The guy is a good player. He's a very unbelievable player. The way he just kept the attack moving. Every time he got the ball, you just expected something to happen. You know, Creativity. He was on there. Neto on the other side. You saw the work rate. You know, he was playing those dangerous crosses in the box, and I like that about Neto because Neto can give you the in swinger, he can give you the out swinger, he can go to the bar line, he can cut in. He still has good footwork. It's just I like the balance those guys brought. And one of the biggest changes I saw in this game as well was Palmer playing in that right half space instead of playing on the left. And I thought that was perfect. Last season, we saw Palmer play that role a lot of times. The left hand space and just doing his thing. I mean, the right. The left, I mean, yeah, Palmer will still get you goals and assists because he has quality, but it's just when he plays in that left hand space, he can combine with whoever the right winger is. He still has freedom, to be able to just kind of roam all around the pitch. And then you're able to see the quality in the final third. You don't want Palmer coming all the way back, dropping deep, building up play. I think his goals have dried up a lot in the last couple of games because he's playing more of like the playmaker role and he's dropping a lot deeper. And I don't think he can affect the game as well. But playing in that right hand space, the pass to Enzo was on point, and then that finish as well was just filthy. This is what Cole Palmer can do. You put him in the right positions, he will hurt the opposition every single time. So I thought today's game was just fabulous. Um, Player ratings because I would like to, give a lot of these guys their flowers. I thought they were on it. Even Robert Sanchez, even though we wanted him to not, play in this game, I thought Sanchez had a good game. He made saves, especially when it was just 1-0. That save on Watkins was big. I think that game, that save was match defining because Villa get a goal. Excuse me. Villa get a goal, this game might be a lot different, to be honest. Because now you got Villa, they're gonna have the momentum, they're gonna have the confidence. It's a sucker punch. We still have a very young team, so that can kind of make them a bit nervous. It can unnerve a lot of these guys. Whatever. Fafana, I think Fafana could have did a lot better when he tried to kind of scoop the ball from Watkins. I think he just misjudged kind of like the flight of the ball. I don't think it was a foul. I've heard someone say they think that was a foul. I don't think there was enough contact in that play for Watkins to have fouled Fafana. I think Fafana just did not read the flight of the ball properly when he tried to like come across Watkins and take the ball away. But big save from Sanchez. I mean, if anything, it's a poor finish from Watkins. But still, you still have to make the save. And Sanchez did that in this game quite a few times. He kept his passing simple. He kept the real short. He didn't do anything too crazy. No nervy moments. And that's the good thing. Now he knows he has some serious competition. So you can't be, messing around in the back with the ball and all of that. Sanchez today was good. Saved us a few times and can't really fault the guy. When he does well, you got to give him his praise. When he does excellent, you got to give him his praise. Same way when he fucks up, you criticize. And today, Sanchez was on it. So good game from him. Cucurella, I'll say one of the man of the match. This guy was everywhere. I mean, it's if there's one thing Pochettino did well or did right for us last season was playing Cucurella in that cup game. That cup tied him from United signing him. That's if there's any positive from Pochettino. That's it. Playing Cucurella so he doesn't go to Man United. Because we could have been selling this guy to United. United under Amarin right now could have had Cucurella playing that, left center back role, left wing back role. If he inverts into midfield for them, bro, it would have been a problem. You give, a team like Man United, a good player like that, it comes to bite you in the ass. So, but I'm glad. That's the one good thing Pochettino did for us was play this guy tight end. He is a monster. And it's always good to see people just come out of like hard times. Cucurella, from reports when he first joined the club, he had some family issues. He had some personal issues. I think his house was kind of burgled. I mean, he was very unsettled when he came in. So you could see the performances translate on the pitch. I think these guys are just normal people, and life off the pitch can affect them on the pitch as well. And he wasn't really acclimatized to the culture, to the club. I mean, he came in for a big fee as well. And it doesn't help that we didn't really have good coaches at the time. Frank Lampard is not it. Thomas Tuchel, not it. And it's just that Pochettino, not it. So he's been through some managers where it felt like this guy's development was being hampered severely. But what a couple of like moms has been for this guy, from winning the Euros with Spain to being one of the best players in that Spanish team in the Euros in the whole, and now just coming back to Chelsea and being one of our leaders. That guy is just intense. Intensity, quality, intelligence, aggression, final ball, whatever you want Cucurella to do, he can do it. You want him to play the center back role, left center back, you play it. Left back, you play it. Left wing back, play it. Playing as a 6, play it. 8, look, Cucurella, player, bro. I'm just happy that he's finally getting the flowers he deserves because you can see the quality in the guy. Man City wanted to sign him. Pep Guardiola wanted to sign him for a reason. We're not going to sit here and act like Pep is a dud right now. I understand City are not doing well, but the guy's a genius, and Cucurella, genius of a footballer. And I'm so happy. Colwell, he's been very consistent now, steadily just improving his performances. I think the last couple of games have not been the best from Levi. maybe complacency. He doesn't really have that competition in his position, so maybe he needs that kind of that push. And I mean, let's face it, Badia Chile is not going to be, you know, uprooting Cowell anytime soon. I mean, you never know with Maresca, but Cowell, he knows that position is his. It's on lock. But I've enjoyed and I've appreciated the consistent performances he's putting out now. I think he's doing really well. He's keeping things really simple. He's playing those passes into midfield. He's defending well, no problems. Fafana, I thought Fafana also had a good game. Bar that one mistake that let Watkins in, and then also he went off in the 60th minute. Hopefully, it's not a bad hamstring. I know Maresca post match said it looks like it's one of those injuries where he might be out for 4 to 5 weeks. Fafana himself posted something on social media saying like, it's a muscle strain and this is something that happens after a long injury. All is good. Again, we don't know. We'll have to see how the next couple of the couple of weeks go. But it's good to see that he's able to walk freely. He looks he looks happy. He looks settled. So, but I think if Fafana does have to miss, weeks, maybe a month of football, I think we definitely need to shore up that defense. We even with Fafana playing, we were all saying the same thing. We need a good defender. We need a very experienced defender. We need someone who's established, someone who has, even more leadership skills, like a Thiago Silva, but a few years younger, preferably, and who can just hack it in the Premier League. So this might give us an opportunity to revisit, the center back positions, the options maybe in January, depending on how, Badia Chile, Tosin, even Desasi at some point, depending on how they come in and fill in that position. We might go back for center back in January. We don't know. But for this game for fun, I thought he did well. He did what he needed to do. Caicedo for me, behind Cole Palmer, was man of the match as well. That guy just keeps improving every single time. The quality, you know, Caicedo just when he's not on your team, when he played for Brighton last, not see last season, the season before, when Caicedo played for Brighton, every time you watch this guy play, you went, "Well, I wish my team signed him," because it's just everything about the guy. It's the attitude of like knowing he's a serious player and then the application as well. Like the guy believes in himself. So you watch Caicedo for Brighton and you go, fuck, this is a baller. I wish my team would sign him, but Brighton might not give us, the player on the cheap. I say this to say this guy has been a blessing to this football club. First season didn't go well, but that's okay. You write it off. But now we're starting to see the Moises Caicedo we thought we were paying for. Like the midfield general. He can do it all. He can tackle, he can pass, he can score, he can assist, whatever. Like it doesn't even matter. Caicedo is that serious of a footballer. And today, for him to play in that familiar, right back, inverted right back row, he dealt with everything so smoothly. Like the body feints in midfield. It's just, I ain't got nothing to say else. This guy is a player, and he's always going to be better than Declan Rice for me. I'm so happy we took this guy off of Liverpool's hands, because if Liverpool had Caicedo in this team, they would have won the league maybe last year, and they'll probably win it again comfortably this year. And that's not even an overstatement. That's just an understatement. This guy would have been quality in our Liverpool team right now. I'm glad we got this guy. I'm happy. Enzo Fernandez, people have been running the jokes like, leave that relationship. Like people are saying, leave that relationship. Like your life might be better. I'm not going to advise you to do that. If you're happy, stay in that situation. If you're not, you do what you need to do. But it's so very interesting that this guy left his girl and he's playing the best football for Chelsea. It's just such a weird coincidence. Like when coincidences happen, like it's just his is just very interesting. Like the performances. just correlating and coinciding with it's just I'm not even going to talk about his personal life. I'm just enjoying the football that Enzo is playing for my club right now. He's arguably one of the most um talked about players in the league. Let me just put it that way. When you hear Enzo Fernandez's name on people, they just 100 million flop. And to be honest, he has not really done much since he's been here. So you can understand that criticism is fair, and but you also have to always remember when he first came into the club for those 6 months, I thought Enzo was our best player. He was our, most creative spark. Like he kept things really just ticking for us when we played Real Madrid in that Champions League. Even though we lost, you could just see Enzo was just bossing that game. Last season, he had a terrible season. Cool. We saw he had injuries, whatever. But in the last couple of games, Enzo has come in and he's just being good. And that's what happens when you play well. People don't bring up your price tag no more. They just leave it alone. They just leave it alone because you're playing well. You have 2 goals, 5 assists this season. What, about 6, 7 goal contributions in the last couple of games, bro? Just keep it going. Keep it simple. I'm enjoying the other aspect of his game that he's bringing in, the physicality, the energy. At times Enzo has looked like he's too lazy. He's just not really getting into it, But the last couple of games you've seen he's stepped it up a bit. He's playing like a captain now. He's performing. He's helping us win games, and that's all you can ask for. So Enzo, good game. Lavia, out of the three today, you say Lavia had the quieter game. I didn't think by any means he was awful, but that just shows how dominant we were. Where Lavia didn't have to really do much. Like he just kept sweep up, pass it off. That's it. And I think potentially that's probably why if you look at like his match rating, it was a bit lower than the other guys. Caicedo was just Caicedo everywhere. Enzo got to go. So you can understand, like, okay, his match rating is going to be up. But I thought Lavia was okay. Like he didn't do anything too crazy, but he didn't do anything awful either. Just kept the game ticking, just kept it simple. And he also had a good game. Neto, I thought he had a good game as well. Like I said, no assists, no goals, but I thought Neto was all right. Neto, for me, he kept it simple on that right. He put in a very good cross a few times, and he just kept it simple, bro. Winning the ball back, doing his thing. Great. So I'm not complaining. Cole Palmer, man of the match, goal and assist in this game. And at least now we can say against the big teams, he's come alive. He has a goal and assist, and it ain't a penalty. And we'll take it. Cole Palmer, what, 8 goals, 5, 6 assists this season? Can't really ask for much. 13 goal involvements in 13 games. We'll take it. If this is a Cole Palmer that ain't really on form, no problem. We'll take that. We're okay with that. Just keep it moving. Cole Palmer had a good game. Sancho, for me, again, someone who didn't really get a goal or assist, but I thought like he carried the offense forward. He was very progressive with his play. That low, pass to Cucurella for that cutback. That's just what you get from Jadon Sancho. The weight of his passes are always, for the most part, on point. Like those little reverse balls, you saw it in midweek. He was just cooking that whole that defense midweek, and I'm actually surprised he got the start again today because I was thinking, quick turnover. But you can see what Sancho brings to this team. He just brings that consistency on that left, and hopefully, he gets another start midweek. If not, the weekend after that. But I thought Sancho had an okay game as well. Nicholas Jackson gets another goal. I thought today was maybe one of the quieter games Jackson had. Um, did a few good things. Had a few poor touches as well. Could add a second goal in this game. Could add a third. He didn't play bad by no means, but it was just one of those games where it was just like a standard. You get your goal and then you just kind of keep it simple, in a way. So I don't think Like he had a good game. That's just it. Like I don't want to say because he got the goal, he didn't do anything else, but it was just kind of that game where it was just like it was just so simple, and it's like today Jackson's game is kind of it's weird because like he got the goal and he had a good game, but it's not like a vintage Jackson performance where you see him dropping that, deeper, linking the play, carrying the ball forward, defenders bouncing off of him laying it off. It's just it wasn't that kind of game. But I guess again, you got to say like this was a game where it was just so comfortable. We were able to just do our thing and we just kept them moving. So impressive score as well. I really wanted us to get that fourth so we could go second because now we're third, joint third with Arsenal. Um, the only thing separating is Arsenal is starts with an A and whereas C. Everything is identical. Wins, losses, draws, goals scored, goals conceded, points. I don't know the last time I saw something this crazy, but we're third in the league, 9 points behind the leaders, Liverpool. And look, if we keep playing like this, we really could. We could, top four definitely should be it should be on lock. I think we're a lot better than the other teams. Maybe not. Actually, we have been better than Man City this season. So you could even say we are better than Man City because the table shows we're better than Man City. Man City just look like they need a hard restart. Like Man City season, this season feels like you're playing a video game and you're losing so much. You just got to plug that shit and restart it. Or matter of fact, just turn it off, go to sleep, and then just get that winning feeling back. But it's just all in all today, good game. But this weekend, because I'm gonna do the weekend wrap up as well. Brighton play Southampton on Friday. I actually was watching that game. I thought I thought Southampton played really well. The goal they scored for me, look, I understand why it was overruled and I understand why it was overturned. But I couldn't help but feel sorry for Southampton because it's like, yes, he did interfere with play. So by the law, it's an offside. But I just felt for Southampton. It felt like one of those games where even like against Liverpool, where they really dug in, could have taken more from this game than they did, just like they did against Liverpool. But again, a 1-0 draw is not the worst result for Southampton. But a player I do want to talk about and big up is Diblin. I mean, this guy, man, you know, if you gave me Diblin right now, I'd probably I'll give you Noni for Diblin. I was gonna say Chukwuemeka, but I'll give you Noni for Diblin because the way the guy carries the ball forward is a joy to watch. Like he's very fearless. He's brave. It's just something about left-footed players, man. They just make the game look a bit easier. They just make it look so simple and like it's like the game just comes naturally to them. Diblin was on smoke. I mean, Brighton could not contain the guy, and soon enough, this guy's going to be out of Southampton. Unfortunately for them, because the talent the boy has is serious. Like he is a serious player. But they had a one draw against Brighton, which kind of definitely helped us a bit because you look at the table now. Brighton are what they're fourth. Um, Definitely good thing they got that draw because they probably would have been what? Yeah, they would have been. I mean, technically, they still would have been fourth anyway because we and Arsenal have a better goal difference than Brighton do. But I thought it was a really good game. Wish Southampton got more out of that, but you know what? It's still a good win for. It's still a good result for both teams. To be honest, this season Brighton have been. They've really not that they've surprised us, but I think Brighton have gone up a different level. I think the performances Brighton have been putting in now, it's like you have to pay attention to them. They have players all over the pitch that can like definitely hurt you. Like Matoma this season, Matoma's had a couple seasons off where, when he was Matoma, everybody wanted to sign him. Now he's kind of going a bit cold. but he's still like now this season. I feel like he has been performing a lot better. You know, Estupinan or whatever you call him, you know, solid performance again. You know, and he's someone that a lot of big teams would have looked at before, you know, he had that big injury. And, you know, I thought he played well as well. Joao Pedro is one guy for me who I also feel like eventually might leave this Brighton setup because that guy is just a joy to watch sometimes. You know, he's really good, tight spaces. You know, he can finish as well. And he's just, you know, how people say like Anthony's like not Brazilian, or even Fred at some point. You could tell Joao Pedro definitely got that samba, you know, gene in him. Like he's just really nice like that. So their team is pretty like balanced. I mean, Reuter as well. He's come in like he's been really solid for Brighton as well. Like he's doing his thing. Danny Welbeck, experienced guy, staying fit, and that's all Brighton can really ask for. So I think this season Brighton have definitely surprised us. They've surprised me. I think they've surprised a lot of people because the levels of consistency they've kind of kept up has been very impressive. So I think for them, maybe a poor, you know, result in their books, but they were lucky to walk away with the draw. So Brentford Leicester, I think we all kind of saw this performance coming. Leicester announced Ruud van Nistelrooy as their manager, but I don't think he was able to take, you know, he wasn't able to take charge of this game. They went to Brentford, and then they lost 4-1. It's not surprising. Leicester have been awful, and you know, Rude has a job on his hands for real, for real. Like I don't think their team is good enough. I don't think they have enough quality. I don't think I don't know. I think Leicester this season might be struggling. Honestly, if they're not careful, they probably go back into the championship because they're 16th. They have 10 points, but from 16th to 20th, it's really separated by like what 5 points. So if so much, you know, Southampton, as you know, okay as they've played in certain games, they're not picking up points. Ipswich Town, they've also looked like when you listen and you hear about Ipswich Town, it feels like they're doing much better than they actually are doing. Um, Wolves, I've been very surprised by where they're at, you know, but it's like if Leicester are not careful, they can really get just dragged down, you know, in those relegation battles. So yeah, they should be careful. Crystal Palace, Newcastle, um, another game where it felt like Palace were going to be very unlucky. They just scored the own goal through Gay, and they really should have been ahead. You know, when the game started, Munoz or Muniz, whatever his name is, he should have put him up a few goals. I think they definitely peppered. Um, they definitely put their hands on Newcastle. Like their expected goals was 1.76. Newcastle's was 0.04. So it's not like Newcastle had one shot that whole game. One. Palace had 16. Let that sink in for a second. They had one shot the whole game. Palace had 16, four shots on target. They missed five big chances. So somehow Newcastle was going to scumbag this result, but Munoz at the end said, "You know what, bro? Nah, you can have some of that." They walked away. I think Palace walked away from this game. They got the point, but they should have been feeling like they should have gotten on three. Newcastle will feel like, you know what, it's a good point, but considering the fact that they lost all three in the last minutes of that game, they could feel very hard done by, but they did not deserve to win that game. Newcastle were awful that game. So Palace got the draw. That puts them in what position? Let me see. Palace are 17th. You know, the last five, they've only lost one. They've drawn, you know, three. They've won one. But at least they're not in the relegation yet. So I think it was a good draw for them. Should have won that game. I mean, Mateta had some few chances as well. He should have buried. Ismail Assar could have scored a few times, but it is what it is. One of the other surprise packages of the season, Nottingham Forest. I mean, they have just been, Forest are having that season where it's kind of like it's unreal. It's really unreal. The way they've been playing has been nothing short of brilliant. I mean, they're sixth in the table. Not a lot of us would have put Forrest in that position, not especially after Nuno came back. Like Nuno was a good coach when he coached Wolves. I thought Spurs was just a shambolic tenure. But that's just typical what happens. He went to Saudi, came back, and he has Forrest just played really well. I think they have been defensively one of the better teams in the league. They've only conceded 13 goals. At some point, they had the best defensive record in the division. So good performance. They won against what do you call it? Ipswich Town. I think it was a Chris Wood penalty, if I'm not mistaken. That keeps them in sixth. Good performance for them. I think their next game they play. Who do Forest play? They play one of these big teams. They play one of these big teams. Who do they play next? They play Man City away. Um, and you'd actually bet on Forest getting something out of that game based on how Man City and have been looking real scrubby. So good win for them. They stay sixth. The 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 result of the weekend for me was Bournemouth beating Wolves. See, Bournemouth have always been that team for me that I know when they're playing at home, they can take the game to anybody. Anybody who's not Liverpool, anybody who's not Chelsea, they take the game to everybody. They beat Arsenal, they beat Man City. They even give Chelsea a very hard game. So away from home, I don't really put my money on them, but they just put Wolves to the sword. I mean, the same player to win three penalties against you. How? How do you let the same guy get three penalties against you? That's shambolic. But that's exactly what happened in this game. And Bournemouth just put them to the sword. They won 4-2. Um, Clivert got his hat trick from three penalties. And that Kirkus finish was nasty. Just front post, top in the roof. You ain't catching that. Bournemouth, good performance as well. I was very surprised they beat Wolves. The Wolves would have done a lot better. It is what it is. Arsenal 5, West Ham 2, Arsenal 5. See, I knew West Ham were not going to do anything, but I didn't think they were not going to do much like that. Like they've had a terrible team. I mean, they've had terrible performances this season, and maybe you got to look at bringing David Moyes back. I'm sorry, Lopetegui is not doing a good job. Let's just call a spade a spade. That guy is not doing a good job. West Ham used to be the team that when you go to that stadium, you don't really come back and you're not bruised up, but they have been awful this season. And when you look at their team, that's not a team that should be where they're at. Individually, at least. When you look at some of the players in that squad, they should not be where they're at. Yes, Mohamed Kudus is still suspended. He's one of their best players. He's honestly one of the best wingers in the league. But West Ham still have enough quality in that team. They have Owar in that midfield. You have Paqueta in that midfield. You have Bowen on the flanks. Antonio, big teams would have taken a punt on him. But when you talk of like, a traditional number 9 type of player, lump it to him. Hopefully it sticks. You got that. Todibo, who, again, all we heard was Todibo. What, maybe last season prior, you talk to United fans, I want Todibo at the club. Todibo. He was really one of the names that was just being thrown out there. Like, he's a solid defender. This guy is awful. Todibo is a terrible, terrible player. I'm sorry, bro. There's no way this guy was getting that hype that he was getting. He's awful. Like he is awful, very bad. Wan-Bissaka, you think like, yo, they'll have some defensive solidity. Emerson, left back. I don't know, bro. This team is just they've been disappointed, man. They've been terrible. I think you give a good manager this kind of squad, and it doesn't have to even be like a top class coach. Like you just give a competent enough manager this team. I think he does a lot better than Lopetegui's doing right now. So it's just, yeah, look. I'm not a West Ham fan, so I can't really talk much. But I don't think he should be, bro. 13 games into the season, and they've been looking the same almost every game. And they're losing more home games, if anything. Like it's not good enough. Arsenal, on the other hand, put him to the sword. Saka stole the show. And, I want to talk about Martin Odegaard for a quick second. The last few games that he's been back, I have started to really appreciate this guy. I'm not an Arsenal fan, um, but I've started to really appreciate Martin Odegaard and just what he brings to the team and how invaluable he is. The guy has come back 3 games now, and Arsenal have looked the best since they have all season. You know, he wasn't even looking this good in their first couple of games before he got injured. But since he's been back from injury, it's just he's brought a new lease of life to this Arsenal team. And you watch him play, he makes things very simple. Like he makes it easier for these other guys to play. Odegaard is a fabulous player. I'll still take Palmer though, but I have to give Odegaard some credit. That guy is a footballer. He's a proper player. Like he's a joy to watch, bro. That pass over the top to Saka to square for Trossard. I mean, yo, nah. Odegaard, you have my respect. Like I've always thought he was an okay player. I've thought he was a good player, but I'm watching him now more, and I'm just like, bro, you make Arsenal just play so much better. You make everything just easy. Like Odegaard, I have to just, yeah, he's a player. He's a player. I'm gonna be shameless and still pick Palmer, but Odegaard is a player. Gabriel as well. Look, Gabriel for me has been the better center back to Saliba for some time now. People wouldn't say it. People wouldn't want to admit it. But I think Gabriel has been the linchpin in that defense. I think this guy he's matured into that role. Gabriel, when he first came in, was looking like a scrub. He was looking like a waste of money. But since that hairline transplant, bro, that guy has been on fire. Like when it comes to the best defenders in the league, you got to throw Gabriel in there. His aggression, his tenacity, you know, recovery as well, his intelligence, reading the game, yo. The guy has matured. And I said this: if we had Arsenal's defensive pairing this season, we compete for the league. Like that's not even like I'm not joking. If we had Gabriel and Saliba, you pair them with Cucurella and Gusto, or now Caicedo, yo, we win the league or we compete at least. I think we have more points than we do now. I think we have more clean sheets than we do now if we had Gabriel and Saliba in this team. That's how impressive Arsenal's defense has been for me over the last 2 years. But Gabriel, especially for me, has really grown leaps and bounds. And I think he's one of the best defenders in the league. But yeah, if we had someone like him, Saliba, yeah, I think we definitely be in business. But it was just it was an easy game for Arsenal. Like it was like a training game. They just did whatever they wanted to West Ham, however, whenever, however, whenever. Like they just came and just they took a shit and left. Put their shoes on the table, didn't flush. Like that's just how they treated West Ham. They just disrespected them. And it is what it is. Arsenal impressive win. United Everton. Xerxes with a brace, Rashford with the brace. And it's looking like Almiron is, he's living up to the hype, and thing is, we always kind of knew that once Ten Hag leaves, Any competent manager that comes in does a better job. Ten Hag was an awful manager. He won two trophies, but the guy was just dead food. And we all kind of suspected that once he left, this team will be better. I still don't rate some of the players in this United team. Um, if you ask me to take between Onana and Sanchez, that's kind of like Onana, slightly better than Sanchez in a way, but his first season was also like a scary thing to watch. Like it was like watching a scary movie. And when you're watching a scary movie and it's so obvious this person has to just run and they just keep doing some foolery, that's how Onana's performances were just to me. It was just I didn't understand it. Like I don't understand why you're moving the way you're moving, but he's really improved as well. I think he's been one of United's best players. This season, he's kept United in a lot of games. He's won them some points as well. So can't really hate it. And when you have a manager like Amarin who wants to bring, structure to this team and he wants to bring, incisiveness and you want to see his team play a certain way, I think they have an okay squad. I'm not going to overrate it because I don't rate some of them, like I said, but he's getting a tune out of them. They've won what their last couple of games in a row. They're playing really well. Um, and they're doing what they need to do. Do I think United is still going to get top four? Highly doubt it. I highly doubt they're going to get top four. I think, if anything, they're going to be in what they're probably going to be in the race for like a top six finish, maybe top seven. But since Amarin has come in, they drew to Ipswich, they beat Bodo Glimp, and they beat Everton. So that's what that's 3 games. How many goals have they scored? They've scored 8 goals, conceded 3. Like you got to give him time to cook, and I think eventually he's going to get it. But to even beat Everton 4-0 is still an impressive result, to be honest with you. Like Everton have not been losing a lot of games this season. They've drawn more than nothing. Um, and maybe this could have been a game where like it could have potentially been like a banana skin for Man U potentially. But you look at this Everton team and you ask yourself, where are the goals going to come from? Like they just don't have it. Decore is like a work, he's like a workaholic in that midfield, but it's not going to get you enough goals to win games. McNeil won't get you enough goals. Beto won't get you enough goals. Um, so it's just Everton are going to struggle this season. You look at that United team, one of the best players, Mazraoui. I'm not playing in this wingback position. Here's how I see it. Remember when Victor Moses played that role for us? And even though he was like a creative winger, more of like a direct winger at the time, Conte played Moses in that role because he's playing a wingback position, but he's still a winger. So you're gonna have to be able to take on your man. You're gonna have to hold flanks to yourself to be able to express yourself. Because Rashford is playing, more centrally. That whole, right wing is yours, and then you kind of have Mazarawi behind you. So even though I'm kind of like maybe you want to play Ahmad in kind of like that inverted 10 role because he has the intelligence, he can pass the ball, he can shoot, he can finish, he's creative enough. But I think playing him on that right side, you give him more defensive responsibility, but you also give him, a freer role to be able to express himself. Because as the full, as the wing back, bro, you could take on, you have more space to be dangerous. Long term, is that a solution? Maybe not. Maybe he's just playing this way because that's what he has right now. And there's nothing better than playing a winger as a wingback because you still have that output from them. You still have that creativity. You still have that eye for goal. And Rashford, 2 goals. Xerxes, 2 goals. You can't really complain too much. Garnacho, rightfully, not in this team. Fernandez, what I said, Fernandez should be someone who plays in that like 10 role. Considering the fact that Fernandez can get you goals, he can create something out of nothing. Sure. Um, and I think Fernandez has the intelligence to be able to play that role as well. He's just one of those like petulant, kind of players who is just very dramatic at times, but I still think he has the quality to play that role. So, a very impressive performance. The next game is against Arsenal. That should be fascinating. That should be very interesting. Um, and we'll see if they're able to beat Arsenal. I don't think so, but I think they give Arsenal a good game. This is where we're going to see what Amarin has against the bigger teams. Like, yeah, it's all fun and games to slap up Everton and get a few wins and whatnot. But now you're playing against Arsenal, title contending Arsenal. Martin Odegaard inspired Arsenal. So I want to see how that game goes. So it'll be interesting. Tottenham won, Fulham won. They drew against a 10-man Fulham for the most part. And this is just a history. This is just the Tottenham way, It's just one week they go and they slap up Man City, hit them for four. Hell, they could have scored more goals. And then go home and draw 1-0 with Fulham. This is just a Tottenham thing. They get up for the big games. They get up for the games they're supposed to. And then the other games, they just go, we're not interested. Like, it just makes no sense. But to give Fulham some credit, Fulham have been a very good team this season. Fulham haven't really been like, someone you just come and have your fun with and leave. Fulham have kind of been consistent. So for them to get a draw at White Hart Lane, very impressive for them. But it's just Tottenham, bro. I don't understand them. Like, I really don't understand Spurs. One week you slap up Man City. Next week, there you go. How do you go to the Etihad, beat Man City for four? Could have been five, could have been six. Go draw to Galatasaray, and then draw to Fulham again. I just It's just Tottenham, man. It is what it is. 1-0 draw. It bodes well for us because now they still stay what, eighth, I believe. We're at Tottenham. They're seventh, so about 5 points behind Chelsea, which again is a good thing for us. After Wednesday, I think our next game is Tottenham away, and it's going to be a very interesting game. It is going to be a very, very interesting game. Yeah, they play us on Sunday, so yeah, it's going to be interesting. But final game of the weekend, Liverpool just annihilated Man City, and look, Liverpool are title contenders. Lip, I've heard Liverpool fans say, you know what, we're the leopard in the tree, and if you asked anybody who was going to win this league, would it be us or Man City? Bro, it don't matter. When the season started, okay, cool. We didn't have, let's just say we didn't think you were going to compete. But that's even disingenuous because for me, when the season started, and I'll say it again, I thought Liverpool would struggle. I thought losing Klopp, having Slot come in, not even that Slot was a terrible manager because I didn't really know much about Slot, but just for the fact that you've had a guy who's been here for what, 7 to like 9 years, he has this team playing a certain way, and he's given his all to beat Man City, and he just hasn't been able to. So for him to leave, Slot to come in, you add to the fact that Liverpool didn't make no signings in this window but Chiesa. It's like, yo, are they really going to be able to compete against Man City? Are they going to compete and beat Arsenal? Because Arsenal have been better than Liverpool in the last 2 years. So you factor all of that in. Klopp is leaving. The influence Klopp has. Like, let's not act like Liverpool have potentially won certain games based on Klopp's influence and how he interacts with the referees and you know how he gets the fans going, how he gets the players ready for certain games. So I thought Liverpool would definitely be going through like a transition period. I understand they have world class players: Trent, Salah, Van Dijk, Allison. Now you can add McAllister to that list because he's a very good footballer. Um, it's just you're like, all right, I think they'll do well. I predicted Liverpool to finish third, so it's not like I was disrespecting Liverpool anyway. But the way they've gone about the season, they've won every game but two. They've lost once and they've drawn one. I can't even count how many clean sheets Liverpool have right now. But you know what? Let's do it. Let's count how many clean sheets Liverpool has right now. Right now. Let's go. It's ridiculous at this point. Like Liverpool this season have been just they've been freaking on it, bro. They beat Ipswich 2-0, beat Brentford 2-0, beat Liverpool 3-0. That's three clean sheets on the bounce. Okay. The lost to Forest, beat AC Milan, beat Bournemouth 3-0. That's four clean sheets. Beat West Ham, beat Wolves, beat Bologna, beat Palace, beat Chelsea. Bro, Liverpool legit have like 9 or 10 clean sheets right now in this running. Like 9 or 10. I'm sorry. Now the expectations have to be adjusted because when you came in, we thought you weren't going to be able to do it. But not only have you gone and done it, you've blown it out of the water. Now you have us looking like mugs. You have us looking dumb and stupid because of how you've come in. You've managed this team well. You've had this team playing some scintillating football. Like Salah. And there's context to all of this, but it doesn't really matter because he has this team playing in a certain way where it's just like when Liverpool take the lead, bro, it's over. You ain't coming back. When Liverpool take the lead, it's done up. It's done for. So Liverpool should be winning this league. I don't want to hear if you thought at the end of this, and at the beginning of the season, who was going to be competing. No, 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 bro. We're past that right now. You've shown us that you're the most consistent team in the league. You're the best team in the league. You're the most dominant team in the league. So far, you have the best manager in the league. Let's just call it what it is. Slaw has come in, and not only has it made Liverpool better, he's made them excellent. Like, you look at their matches, bro. All you see is green, 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 green. Just greens, wins. Liverpool must. Liverpool must. You have to win the league. Like they have to. I'm sorry. None of this trying to pretend, oh, we're the underdogs. No, 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 bro. You ain't no underdogs. You are the best team in the league right now. You have a 9-point gap at the top. You've played all these big teams so far. You've played Arsenal, you've played United, you've played Chelsea, you've played City. Have they played Spurs? Let me see. Has Liverpool played Spurs? They beat Spurs 4-2. So you've played Villa. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. No, 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 no. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. I'm lying. I don't think Liverpool have played Spurs yet. That's the only team they haven't played yet. They haven't played Spurs. So, nah, Liverpool have to win the league. It's as simple as that. You have 9 points. That's 3 games. It means you got to win 3 games. You got to lose 3 games. The other teams have to catch up to you. And then those other teams have to just keep winning every single game. It's just, nah. I think right now Liverpool are the firm favorites. Second favorites right now is Arsenal. And then you could throw Chelsea in as the third favorites, even though for us, we ain't got a goalkeeper. So that's why we're always going to say, yo, we're not in this. Like if we had a good goalkeeper, you could say, all right, we could take some responsibility and say, you know what, we're going to challenge for the league. I think top 4 is still the target. But if we get into a situation where come the end of December, January, we're only like 4 points behind Liverpool, then you can say, you know what, we are in a title charge. We're going to challenge. You're 4 points behind, and you can do your thing. So right now, we're the leopard in the tree. and Liverpool are the kings of the jungle. And that's just what it is. And Liverpool, the next game is Newcastle. No Isak. I expect them to go and beat Newcastle as well. It's an away game. Newcastle are going to be up for that game, but I expect Liverpool to just steamroll them. I'm sorry. Liverpool have gone to St. James's with 10 men and still won that game. So I expect Liverpool to go and handle business. I think they're going to win. But today's performance was just brilliant, bro. They beat Man City. You know that meme where it's like, um, you were so bored, you give them the ball just to win it back and give it back to them and win it back. That's just what Liverpool was doing to Man City. All over the pitch, they just showed superiority. They just showed we are the dogs now. Errors do come to an end, like Ten Hag said. People have said he don't got the foresight, but Ten Hag might have been right. Errors do come to an end. It's looking like Man City's is really hanging on a thread right now. And that's how shocking it's been for Man City. And for Man City, no wins in 7. Where do they go from here? That's the question I want to know. Like when Gundo came back, we thought, you know what? Man City are probably going to walk this league again. You added Gundogan to this team. You still had De Bruyne. You brought one of the best wingers in Savio into the team, and we're thinking, Man City about to do it again. But now there's no Rodri, no Kovacic, and that whole team is falling apart. And it doesn't get easier for them because City, their next game is against Forest. If they go lose to Forest, if Man City don't beat Forest, I can confidently say they're not in the title race anymore. Like I don't think it even matters. And it's not like City are going to go into the January transfer window and spend 300 mil and bring like 4 or 5 players in. You can't do that. Like I mean, they probably can, but it's like you probably have to balance your books as well. You can't just go and just spend. You got to be able to sell as well. You got to balance your books, PSR and all that nonsense. So it's looking real spooky for Man City at this time. And it's crazy to say this, but Man City is struggling. And boy, it's weird to see. It's very weird to see. But yeah, people, this has been the end of your preview, your weekend roundup. If this is your first time coming across the channel, like the video, support the channel, grow. Share the content, hop in the comments. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you feel about Liverpool's game today. Do you think Man City are going to claw back, the lead between them and Liverpool? Do you expect Liverpool to go in and go win the league? I mean, I think they should, but their fans are saying not yet. I don't know how much more proof they want to see. Maybe they want to be 16 points clear at the top to say they're they're going to win it and actually own it. But yeah, it's been a good weekend, man. Chelsea won, United won. Not happy about that, but it's nice to see the big teams picking up results. Um, but yeah, Liverpool are a problem. Liverpool are a problem. They're the best team in the league. They should go on and win the league. And they might even have a shot for the Champions League, to be honest, because Real Madrid is looking real scrubbish. Liverpool right now can beat anybody in Europe. So could Liverpool potentially be on for a double, maybe a treble, a quad, maybe? I don't know. But you tell me. Liverpool really could be in for like a very spectacular season. Now, I do got to say one thing. Their over reliance on Mohamed Salah this season could come back and haunt them. About 67%, as has been reported, of your goals has been from Mo Salah. If he's not scoring them, he's making them. You take away Salah from this Liverpool team, you don't win against, let's see. Give me one sec. You don't win against Brighton. That much I know. You don't win against Southampton. That's already 6 points dropped. Who else don't you win against? You don't come back against Arsenal. You probably lose that game. Probably draw to Chelsea. So it's just a lot of these performances have been saved by Salah and his brilliance, you know. So it's like if Salah gets injured, what happens? Who replaces Salah? Who replaces those goals? Like there's been a very big over reliance on Salah this season. And look, that's the point. If you have a big game player, you have a serious player like Salah, you look to him. He's your talisman. You look to him to win you games. But it's looking like there's an over reliance on this guy, and his contract situation is still up in the air. Are they going to renew his contract? We don't know. If I were Liverpool, see that thing is, you don't want to also have like short sightedness and just give him whatever he wants. And then Salah just down tools and he's just out here making bare money on you guys. So Liverpool, just be careful. You're doing your thing right now, but just be careful. I know Salah's important to you, but keep him fit, keep him happy. But Liverpool have to win the league. I'll see you guys in the next one.